Just wanted to do a video about some creepy, well, there's one really creepy house in my street and another around the corner. There's literally a house on the corner down the street. It looks really nice on the outside. It's like white with beautiful hedges out the front. You never see anyone gardening. There's like spider webs over the front gate because nobody ever goes in, nobody ever comes out. But someone obviously does the garden, and like there's a side, like it's on a corner, so there's a side gate. I have seen a guy going in there with a teenage girl before, like after school, like he's her dad. Never ever seen a mum. Like I've lived here for years and years and years, and I just always wonder, like their windows are never open, nothing is like, I don't know, nothing is touched. It makes me a bit, nervous just thinking about it. Like nothing is touched outside the house, and yet it's really clean and, excuse me, and yet it's like really clean. The garden looks really good and everything like that, so it's a bit creepy. There's another house way around the corner in a different street. It's like the garden is just completely dead. They never ever put lights on. I've driven past day, night. They don't open the blinds. Maybe the guy like tours the blind like that, like a tiny bit, opens the little Venetian slats to let light in during the day. It's like I've seen a modern car go into the garage at the back, which is like the only thing in the yard that is, okay. Like everything else is just dead. Like the grass is all dead. There's no plants at all. The letterbox, like the front door looks like it's boarded up, and there's like the house hasn't been updated. It's an old, maybe 70s or 80s brick house, and it's just, there's nothing on the outside of it. There's no light on at night, inside or outside. I just don't know what to think. But I've seen this old guy who looks well dressed, and I've seen him in the garden in the daytime, like going from the car to the house, and I just think, what the heck? Like, is someone living in there? Is he living in there? Is he looking after his old mother? Like, he's pretty old anyway. He must be like 70 or something. I can't understand why someone would never use electricity. Or, I mean, fair enough, it's probably a smart thing to do if you could, but there's just nothing of joy in that house. Like, there's no life, no garden, no anything. Like, it always creeps me out. I walk past it and I just stare at the house and just think, like, it's only a few meters back from the road. The fence is right next to you. The house is about 3 or 4 meters back from the fence, and it's a normal 2-story house. Like, you can see into the backyard because there's no garden. You can see that there's nothing there at all. But I get the feeling like someone's there, but there's no one, I just don't know, it creeps me out. I just think if something happened to someone, if they did live there, who would know, like, who's the guy? Yeah. I remember when I was 14 years old, we moved, oh no, how old was I? 11? Yeah, and then 14. I was 14, we moved to this house. We were moving a house, actually, and my parents and my brother were at this other house where we were gonna move. Like, it was around the corner, maybe a few streets away, so they drove around there and they said, we'll come and get you. And it was a creepy old house. It was like really, really high ceilings, and I had a fireplace in my bedroom, and it was a beautiful house, but it was just, there was something a bit eerie about it, and I always felt like a bit strange there. And then as I was leaving, like, I hadn't touched my wardrobe at all. It was in the other corner of the room. I was over by the window, and I remember I was just putting something in a bag, and just all of a sudden this music box in my cupboard started playing, and I hadn't touched it. I had not touched the cupboard. I hadn't wound up this music box for years and years and years, and I remember it just started playing, and I just went out of the house. I just looked at it, and I think I went over and I kicked it or something, and I was just really shocked. I went outside the house, and I left the house open and went to the other house. Like, I went walked all the way around to where my parents were, and I said, oh, are you coming to get me? Like, I didn't say anything about it, but it really, really, really freaked me out. I still feel like weird thinking about it. And then when we moved to the other house, there was an orange plantation behind it, and next to that was a deserted house. Like, well, not deserted, but it belonged to the mine where my dad worked. It was in a country town in Australia where we are, and this house, no one had lived in it for years, and we had extra keys at our house, and like there were like about 5 or 6 houses in this circle where we lived, just on the edge of town near the mine and behind the plantation, and then there was this other house sort of behind another fence. We had these extra keys at our house, and one day me and my brother, we went there and we found out that our extra keys fit this house, and we used to go in there and stuff, and we used to go look around, and we didn't do anything, but it didn't ever have a weird feeling about it, like, but it was really cool. It was like, you know, secret garden sort of thing, or, you know, one of those, you know, I don't know if you've read The Velvet Room, just, it was like a place that we could go, and it was a secret, and no one knew that we were there, and we had access to it, like, we hadn't broken in or anything, we just used this key we had, and it was like amazing that, I don't know why those keys were in our house, like I don't know why we had them, and we used to say, oh, maybe there's like treasure hidden in here, or maybe there's a floorboard's gonna move. We never found anything creepy, it was just like, it was weird to be in this like other house. But yeah, don't know what the hell's going on at that White House in our street, I swear, like, I just think it's weird if people are hiding all the time, like there's a guy going in there with his daughter or something. Why don't you use the front street like everybody else? Like, he's using a side street, no one can see him hardly, like, that's where the side gate is. They've got a dog, like, no one can sort of go near the house. This dog always barks at the back, like at the side, and he never, ever, ever, ever walks out the front gate, and that spiderweb on that gate tells you that he never walks out there. Like, what a creep. Ooh.